Hi, everyone. My name's Katie Beineke, and welcome to another episode of The Lion's Den. Today we have a special episode because we are wrapping up Women's History Month for the month of March. We have two athletic administrators here at University of Arkansas, Fort Smith, to have a little conversation and tips and tricks of the trade and kind of get to know us a little bit more. So I am joined today by, I keep wanting to say Dr. Madison. This is Madison Dickerson, and she is our faculty athletic rep. Both Madison and I are huge advocates for women and empowering them and lifting them up and leading boldly. We would not be in the chairs we are without the women before us. And so we want to be able to celebrate that this month and share a little bit. So we're going to have a little bit of conversation and those insights, and because we're both products of the student athlete experience. So let's jump right in, Madison. Tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to becoming a D1 student athlete at Arkansas, and how your student athlete experience prepared you for the role you are currently in your career trajectory has absolutely elevated and prepared you for life after sport.
Okay. Loaded question.
Yeah, lots of questions there.
Yes. So a little bit about my background. I come from a small rural town in Arkansas. Both my parents were K through 12 educators. My dad was a coach for over 20 years, mostly in baseball and football. He coached basketball when I was younger, but mainly baseball and football. I played a couple different sports growing up. I started swimming summer league at the age of 6, and then started year-round swimming at the age of 12. I played volleyball and ran track. But then in around 10th grade, my dad said, I probably needed to choose a sport to focus on if I wanted to go to college to compete. And so I decided that swimming was going to be the best route for me to get me to collegiate athletics. So I was a state champion at the high school and USA swimming level in a few different events. And so I actually got the call my senior year that I was receiving a scholarship from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville for swim. And that was just a huge privilege because being from the state of Arkansas, we don't have a pro team. And so everyone, being right down the road from Fayetteville, it was a dream to be a Razorback. And 100%. So when I got the call, I immediately said, yes, let's do this. My dad said, you're going to be a little fish in a big pond with SEC athletics. But I was ready for the challenge. And so I swam all 4 years of my undergrad career. I competed at all of our travel events and even got to compete at our SEC championships. And that was just, that was an eye-opening experience, being from small state Arkansas swimming to SEC national level swimming. But it was an opportunity that I am truly grateful for. So I feel like my role as a student athlete and the experience that I had really prepared me for the role that I'm in now.
100%.
As an assistant professor and director of field education and social work, I do feel like a lot of the experiences that I had as a student athlete were transferable to what I'm doing now.
Transferable skill set, absolutely.
Yes. And so I have always loved connecting with people, learning their stories, encouraging them, learning about where they came from, and then helping them into their next future steps. And so that was one of my favorite parts of being a student athlete at Arkansas, because my entire team was made up of women from all over the world. And so I had friends from England, from South Africa. I had friends from Texas, California, Slovenia. They're all over the world. And so I got to build really strong relationships with women from all different walks of life. And that paired with my social work education that I got at Arkansas, really, that just confirmed that I was in the right place at the right time. And so I, as a student athlete, and I'm sure you know this too, and we've talked about this, but as a student athlete, you had to learn time management. You have to learn respect for differing opinions,
100%.
Teamwork, servant leadership, and even towards the end, finding my worth in things outside of sport and for that life after sport. And so I think that all of those things, my journey to where I am now, are extremely applicable to what I'm doing here within the athletic department too, as a FAR, and even in the social profession too. So
100%. So speaking of faculty athletic rep position, so those of you who may not know what that is, Madison will tell a little bit more, but it's such an incredible position of having that liaison between athletics and the academic side. So tell us a little bit about your role, because what is it, almost 2 years
Almost
now?
2 years now.
2 years now. Okay,
2 years in July.
So how's that experience been for you?
It's been amazing. I've always said that I wanted to be able to give back to athletics in the ways that it gave to me.
100%.
And to the different people that were in my life growing up in the athletic space. And so when this position came open, I immediately jumped on it. My boss said, absolutely perfect role for you.
Fit.
Go for it. And I'm really grateful that she, really encouraged me to step out there and put my name out there. But really with the faculty athletic representative role, I feel like it's it's advocating plus educating. So I'm advocating through education.
Love it.
I advocate for our student athletes with different employees here on campus, but also in the community and just in the athletic realm in general, especially when it comes to mental health. I also feel like as a FAR, I'm a mentor. That's actually how I started out within the athletic department with the women's basketball team. Coach McAdams asked me to be a mentor for their team, and I feel like that helped with my transition to the role as FAR. I think too, just because I've been there, done that, I understand the weight of the role that our student athletes have here on campus. And so a lot of them will just come to my office to just talk because I'm not tied to their performance on the field or on the court or wherever it is. I'm tied to their academics, but not really. I'm not teaching them. And so I get to be that middle person to hear them out and to give them advice and help guide them down the best path that they need. I also get to discuss the realities of life after sport. I wish that someone would have talked to me about the fact that, 50 years from after you're in college, what are you going to do? You're probably not going to be playing your sport at a professional level at that point anymore if you choose to go on to that level or have the ability to. And so that's a hard topic to have with student athletes, but I'm grateful that I get to have that opportunity to discuss that with them because life after sport is so important and they learn so much while being a student athlete that's directly transferable to their life professionally, personally, after it blossoms, after they graduate. So,
Absolutely. Well, no, in college athletics and at the Division II level, it's all about, we like to say the life and the balance as well, but we have, with the faculty athletic rep role, it is so important to have someone outside of the athletic realm, but also Madison being a Division I swimmer at Arkansas, she gets it. She's had all those lived experiences and she's able to relate and have that empathy and truly listen through a lens in which our student athletes respect, and we just adore having her here. So it's been an absolute great fit.
It's been a privilege. I think too with, the life and the balance, there's a big push right now for expectations to have athletic departments focusing on mental health and mental health plans for their student athletes. And so again, I think it was a no-brainer for me to try to go for this position because of my role professionally as a social worker. And I think it's a perfect marriage of like my love for sport, my love for mental health and education. It's all wrapped up in one now. So
Oh, absolutely. So our Madison and I, we align a lot with. I grew up. My dad was dean of education at Arkansas State, so being able, I use that all the time. The word marry, align, whatever language you want to use, of growing up in higher ed and loving having that academic heart with athletics and being able to do that as a career. Madison and I were just talking earlier. I had a colleague this fall at a conference just say, we get to play in the toy aisle of life. It's amazing, and we really do. And it's an honor and a privilege to do what we're doing. That's kind of at two different levels at D1, and I went to a smaller NAIA school, more liberal arts institution, but we kept the main thing, and that's what I love. Madison and I have these great conversations of developing young people for life after sport, because the ball is going to stop dropping at some point. And so how have we done our job to prepare them for that next level, to be leaders, to be the next women leaders, to be bold in a room, and that leadership and all of that. And so we take great pride. We'll probably just start smiling when we start talking about it, because you get to light up when you start talking about things you love and enjoy and do. And so I love that that we align that way.
Yes.
And we talked about leadership. And so leadership to me is showing up as your most authentic self. There's only one of one. There's only one Madison. There's only one Katie. There's only one of our student athletes. Being a great communicator and clarity. I think women, we are very good at emotional intelligence, of reading a room. I think bringing that to the table is huge.
Oh, yes.
I think it's a huge, and it should be an asset. A big part of my role as the senior woman administrator and senior social athletic director is filling the gap. And I love being that leading from the middle type situation. I love our athletic director's mission and carrying that out within our relationships with coaches, student athletes. I love being right there in the middle. And it's just absolutely fantastic. It's that sweet spot and that passion of mine, for sure. Yes. But like, we all have our own different strengths. We don't have to be that unicorn. I think back when we played, you were supposed to be all things to everybody all at once. But no, we're all different. We all have our different strengths in that way. And especially in this time of college athletics landscape, it is ever changing. I think back in COVID 6 years ago, it was, unprecedented times and the new normal. Well, I think that pretty much describes college athletics right now. Yes. But I think our roles too is to encourage women, especially who want to pursue a career, to not give up, to not just see the scary world that it could be more transactional. It's still, at the end of the day, very relational. Yes. This field is still very relational. These are incredible human beings and colleagues across the nation. But going back to developing young people and keeping the main thing.
Definitely. So. Yeah. And to your point too, like, we're helping develop them as leaders. And I think specifically with the women, just showing them that as a team, as a teammate, you get to grow in the sense of learning how to encourage those around you. And being a good teammate takes that piece of encouraging maybe when you're feeling down, or noticing when someone is feeling down and you need to pick them up and encourage them and walk alongside them. And that's a really strong skill that we're trying to help instill in our student athletes, is that encouragement piece and growing with them. And then also the genuine connection with one another, going back to that relational piece. That connection is so important, but I say genuine connection because there's a difference between just a superficial connection with someone,
that surface level.
We work together, we're on the same team, versus we have a genuine relationship, a genuine connection with one another, and we're going to notice when the other needs something, or walk alongside each other, pick each other up, encourage each other, celebrate with one another. That's the difference in that genuine piece, is that you truly care about that individual, and it's not transactional, it's actual a relationship.
For sure. And I think you definitely got to relay that a little bit when you were a guest coach for a game that Coach McAdams does a great job. he invites women leaders in the community to come to a basketball game. They're sitting on the bench. Our student athletes are interfacing with the community, and Madison did that at a game, and they want her back every game now. So it was a great connection piece in there.
Yes.
It's just fantastic.
Yes. I tell them too.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard earlier, I did not play basketball. I played basketball.
Neither did I.
Maybe in the second grade. And I think that's when my parents realized basketball is not the sport for you. So when Coach McAdams asked me to start out as a mentor and a guest coach, I tell them every time that I go in there with them, I don't know a thing about basketball. I've gotten to know a little bit more with my time with them, and then my husband's really into basketball. But I tell them I have no idea what you are doing out there. All I know is that I'm here to support you and encourage you and jump up and down on the bench and make eye contact with you and encourage you through eye contact if you're having, a rougher game or whatever that looks like. So I've truly enjoyed that part. But it is quite comical when I have no idea what they're doing.
I mean, that's fine. So. I'm 6 feet in the air and I can't make a layup. So yeah, volleyball was the only sport. Volleyball was definitely so. Once again, we aligned once again. But tell us, so a little bit outside of college athletics, what are some of your, I'm really big on, what are your passion projects? I want to know what our student athletes, like, what are you really passionate about? So tell us a little bit.
Outside of just encouraging and mentoring student athletes in college athletics, a really big passion of mine, this started when I was in graduate school, was working with individuals experiencing homelessness and figuring out ways that the community that serves those individuals can collaborate together in the best way and serve individuals to the best ability that we can. And so I actually just recently got voted on to be a board member of the local Old Fort Homeless Coalition. And
congratulations.
Thank you. But I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to be able to sit in that position to help facilitate that connection and collaboration and researching around that topic as well is a passion of mine. And so I'm excited to be able to, again, marry the two together and research and collaboration for the benefit of our community and for the agencies that I work with on a day-to-day basis for the sake of our students in the social work program. So that's a really big passion of mine, is trying to serve individuals and clients within our community and let their voice be heard when sometimes their voice is not brought to the table. So
100%. Yeah. That's amazing. And going back and having women leaders in those seats on those boards, because when you have a dynamic group of women or just a dynamic group in general, it's going to be innovative and creative. And, you're always something's missing. So when you have everyone at a table being able to do the best for whether it's for your nonprofit or for our student athletes, it's so important. So serving on those boards, get in there, use your voice, be bold, I think is something that we want to empower and instill in our young people, especially our young female student athletes.
Definitely. Yeah. Dr. Robinson, our provost, actually came and spoke with our senior level social work students today. And one of the things he was talking about was the fact that when you don't go for something, you're already rejecting yourself. And Dr. Robinson got the opportunity to talk to our student athletes too with our Lions Impact series about mental health and just his professional journey. And I think that's really important to point out of being bold and stepping into the room and putting yourself in places that you may not feel like you're qualified to be there. However, you most likely are qualified 100%. To be there, and you have the ability to show up and show out in a way that's positive and can bring light into the room and a lot of solution focused, critical thinking, problem solving skills that maybe someone else wasn't able to bring to the table. And so I think just being bold and teaching our student athletes to be leaders who are bold and put themselves out there. And you may get rejected time after time, but you'll eventually get that, that confirmation or that acceptance. And that will make all of that rejection worth it at the end.
100%. So. 100%. Oh, well, a little bit. What was Piece of advice you would tell a younger generation or or even like your younger self? What is something you've learned? That's a question I love asking.
So actually, I said this at my senior speech at Arkansas. We got the ability, we always had an end of the year banquet, and the seniors every year got up and got to give words of wisdom to the younger student athletes on the team. And so I talked about how I wish maybe one piece of advice that someone could have told me, but it was also something that I realized with the people that I surrounded myself with in collegiate athletics, was that you're worth so much more than that time or the score off the board or the place you finished in, or your worth is so much more than that. And putting all of your worth in the sport itself, what are you going to do when it's all over in an X amount of years? And so, and I think that's a hard pill to swallow. Again, like we said earlier, when you compete for the last time, whether that's planned for the last time or not, sometimes. And so, I'm not saying don't be passionate about the sport that you're doing. Don't show up every day and give it your all. Don't encourage your teammates. Don't do everything for your team. But I say this, please remember that your worth is so much more than this, more than the sport that you call yours. And one day you're going to go on and be a professional in the world. You're going to make a difference in different places. You may be a parent. You may be a partner. You're going to be a friend. You're going to be a confidant. You're going to be a supporter, encourager, all these things that make up who you are and your overall worth. And so I want that to be the piece that our student athletes, and they hear that from me time and time again, is that I want them to know their worth 100%. And their amazing worth, and that I want them to take that and run with it and be bold with that worth too. So that's the piece of advice.
My heart. So. That's definitely, that's so true. And that, to piggyback off that, for me, it's lean into that. I think as women too, we don't have the confidence, going back to what you were talking about too. Oh, if we don't have the whole checklist or the whole, we're not going to go for it. But we may provide something different, a different strength or something. I wish I would have leaned in earlier in my career, or leaned in and done something more. Definitely had that confidence on the court. But transferring that into the workplace, especially as a young professional, it didn't as well. But now, and then you have advocates and you have colleagues and you have your administrators. And I have been extremely lucky to have, the reason I am in athletic administration, everyone's heard me say this, Coach Kurt Kelly was my athletic director at Lyon College, seeing him, and then working for Coach Kevin Jenkins. And then now with Curtis, I have had male roles who have supported women and girls and supported, and that has meant the world, and that I would not be sitting here without the support of them as well.
Definitely. Definitely.
I think kind of as we wrap up here, I want to remind you all to put yourself and surround yourself in positions with people who have that ruthless drive and ambition, and really just bring the next generation of women along with you. Bring them. It's not always linear either. I think your pathway is not always linear. It never will be, and that's good. That means dynamic, and I love that word lately. I also want to encourage you to follow Women Leaders in Sports. Incredible organization. It's based in Kansas City. And like I said before, women belong in every room that a decision is being made. And bringing together that group, it's crucial. So thank you for tuning in. And Madison, thank you for sharing your story and getting to know you a little bit. It was a privilege. And we'll see you again next week. And go Lions.
Go Lions.